Hello everyone. Alright, so this is the most recent blaster I've done. This is for Aaron of Solo's Hold. Um, he has seen some of my builds and wanted me to do an accurate Han Solo DL-44. And the problem was we didn't have access to a lot of the parts. I did have um, an extra scope from the Dark Energy Creations run from my last kit that I wasn't using. I actually contemplated on selling it. And I had a flash hider and aluminum bull barrel from earlier that was going to go on my Mersan Power 5. However, when Aaron came to me with his blaster request, I decided I'd just go ahead and sell him those parts, and we got Dave from Dark Energy Creations had an extra scope mount that was his test bed, and it had some chunks missing out from underneath um, the scallop here, but you would never see it with a scope mounted. So we decided to go ahead and get that, and so Aaron sent me a Denix with wood grips, and I started on the conversion. So this one does have the only thing missing, the only accurate part missing is the grill. The grill is an Evolution Props grill. We didn't have access to a Dark Energy Creations grill. When that comes available, or if one comes available, we can swap it out in the future at some point. But for now, I had to do quite a bit of work on to get it to even fit right. But it's there, and it looks pretty good. So here it is. I'm just going to show you in detail. This is a Denix base, but I want to show you some of the things that I've done to accurize the Denix. I did reshape the trigger, so no more big, bulky, fat Denix trigger. What else did we do? I respaced this portion right here where you hold it and your finger goes. The Denix is very narrow and it's very, very uncomfortable. And a real Mauser and an MGC has a much better gap right there. So I've widened that gap and made that much nicer than it was. Using my real Mauser and MGCs as a base, the real Mauser of course was the major base, I milled off the top of the bolt, and then I milled in what looks to be an extractor. So it's just a little milled spot that's aluminum black right there. All the bolts on the Mausers are actually bright, so I wanted to leave that bright. It'll dull over time, but I wanted to do that. So I have the extractor there. Let's see. I milled out the little butt, the Denix butt that isn't supposed to be there because of the real Mauser. This is just flat, so this iron sights work. So I milled that flat, but it needs to have some metal there for the pin to go through. So I did secure this. I glued the sight ramp down so it doesn't flop around. This is still loose a little bit, so that's the only noise you're going to hear. Otherwise, it's solid. Bolt works, action works, everything works great. This does have a Blaster Core 4.0 in it. There's a recharge port here with a 7.4 volt lithium ion battery pack inside the magazine well, along with the Blaster Core 4.0, and I did the recessed auxiliary switch right here. So I wanted to kind of replicate what the magazine release button is on a real Mauser. There's no way to move it back to where it would be accurate just because of where the structure is. So I moved it forward a bit and just kind of recessed that, and that's it's flush, so when you look at it from the side you can't see it. Another part that we didn't have from the Dark Energy runs extra were the antenna greeblies. I had some of these. These are, I think they're Bobadet's older run. They're very close to what the accurate antenna parts look like. Well, they're not antennas. I'm sorry, the push rods from the Varon Hawker Tomtit kit. So they're very close. This is a Dark Energy's Creations piece of T-track that I did shape already, and I used those push rod greeblies here for the front sight greebly. This is an aluminum flash hider, and it took a lot of work to make it look like a real one. It looks steel. So does the bull barrel. It took a lot of polishing, a lot of steps with aluminum black and steel wool to get those to look like steel. And this one, I even went so far as to try and make it look like some of the pictures of the actual MG81 flash hiders to make it look as authentic as possible. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. It really looks good. In fact, I like it more than my steel one. So what else? Oh, so the wood grips, the Denix wood grips. There is a 2-watt custom Saber Shop 2-watt bass speaker in here. It's mounted to this grip, and it vents up this way, so it sits flush with the base of the frame inside. And there's a tiny hidden milled slot. Let's see if I can expose for it. I really doubt that this will let me do that. Let's try anyway. Nope. Well, anyway, there's a small milled slot in here that lets the sound escape. So when you're holding it, sound ricochets off of the palm of your hand and makes it nice and loud. The plastic grips are louder just because there's more resonance and there's more space, but the wood soaks up a bit of the sound. But the wood is just nice and loud. The replica Hensoldt scope, I used my real Hensoldt Wessler Zeal Dalet 3X scopes to model the weathering after. So you'll see here, painted just like the real scopes. All the brass fittings are painted and then weathered down to make it look like they're 100 years old. I went for the 3 scratches here that are on the prop, the hero prop, and blued. I tried to ding up the scope body as much as I could, but the steel is really tough to beat up, and I chucked it around in my tool drawer a bit to try and to get it to look a little bit more weathered. And but it's still, most of the time it just looks really nice. So those are the details. Weathered the crossbar and the knobs according to the Chronicles pictures in the Star Wars Chronicles book of all the props. There's the post-production shots of this blaster. So that's where I've modeled those scratches after, and they're fairly accurate. I'm going by very, very tiny picture, but even the scans don't show any more than what I can see with my eyes on the printed book. So I'd give a good 5% window of accuracy there. Anyway, so let's go ahead and fire it up. Pull the kill key.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Put a couple of my own Han Solo font things on there. So it works. Hammerback works. Loose trigger, this works. You can pull the bolt back, fire it. See-through scope. So this is how you change the fonts on a blaster core. Hold the trigger, then hold the auxiliary button. Nope, I didn't do it right. So let's see if I can do it again, second try. Okay, so once you hear that first beep, you then hit the button again. It'll go into the menu.
It isn't friendly, whatever it is. Come on, Chewie, let's check it out.
I put a Han Solo ESB font on here. iSaber, whatever that says, pointed blaster. There's a Blade Runner font that I put on here. Boba Fett, Imperial Trooper. We're back at Han Solo. So the 2 Han Solo fonts, I put some special, what I've done for my blasters, some sounds on those. The New Hope one and the ESB one both have a few blaster sounds with some extras on them. So,
Han Solo. Bulky religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
oh, those blocking it. So there it is. There is the Han Solo blaster on a Denix, a little accurized, and it's pretty much done now. Just going to charge it and then pack it up and send it off. So there you go. Aaron, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it brings you many good times nerding out in the mirror. I know I do. Putting it in and out of the holster, and et cetera, et cetera. Have fun. All right. Thanks, guys.